Well, hey y'all, today's video is going to be a little bit different. You're not going to need any fancy tools, you're not going to need any expensive products, and it's not going to take you a whole lot of time. I am going to show you a very beginner-friendly, back to the basics way of transforming a piece of furniture in just a few hours. I'll be using Melange 1 paint to complete this project, and I'll be giving a little review on what I think of the paint at the end. So as you can see, this piece is already painted. It was painted with a homemade chalk paint and then wax put over the top of it. So not only will you see how you can transform a piece in just a few hours, you'll see that you can paint over previously painted furniture, even if it does have wax on it. Now the good thing is it's not a super thick coat of wax, so it isn't going to be painstaking to get all of the wax off. I did one drawer here to begin with, just so I could make sure that that is exactly what it was on there and that I could get it down to a smooth, so I could get it back to the painted surface, and that's exactly what it was, and it didn't take me any time at all. So here's what we'll need for today's project. Like I said, we're not using expensive products. We're not using any fancy tools. We're going to make this as simple as possible with the best outcome, of course, because, you know, I always have to do a little something extra. So I have a surprise towards the end that you're not going to want to miss. So what you're going to need is, of course, you're going to need your Melange paint. You're going to need a paintbrush. I really prefer these synthetic bristle brushes. This is a zebra brush, which I need to get another one because that's got a little something on it. You're going to need some gloves because we are going to need to take the wax off with some mineral spirits. It comes off, like I said, this isn't a super thick coat of wax on there, so it came off really easy with the mineral spirits and a scrubby, I don't know, Scotch-Brite type. I got them from Dollar Tree. You can grab yourself a little bit of sandpaper and, of course, some paper towels and a cleaner to clean it after we scrub it down with the mineral spirits. And that's really all we need, folks. So let's get started. So the first way that I could tell that this was wax is as I ran my fingernail along the surface. And you probably can't see it because it's black, but there was a little bit of a residue. Like I said, there isn't a lot of wax on here, but you can also feel it. There's a definite texture, but there's definite wax feel to the surface. So put on a pair of gloves, get your scrubby and that mineral spirits, and just sprinkle a little bit on there, and then you're just going to scrub. And you're going to scrub, and you're going to scrub some more, and it's going to be really hard to tell if you've even gotten any off. But you just kind of keep scrubbing, making sure that you scrub everywhere on the surface and then wipe it back. And you're going to notice you're going to see some black, and that's because we're actually getting to some of the paint, and that's actually a good thing. That means we're cutting through that wax coating that's on top. So you're just going to continue doing that through all of the drawers, the sides, the top, the entire piece of this dresser. Next, we're going to go ahead and clean the entire thing, making sure that we're going to remove any of the mineral spirits residue. So I'm using White Lightning, and the directions say to spray it on, scrub it, and then you're going to wipe it back with a clean rag. So this is dipped in clean water, and then you're just going to remove all of that residue. And we will continue that process throughout the entire dresser. Clean, scrub, wipe it back. Now let's start sanding. So normally we wouldn't really even need to do much sanding. I'm doing more because this, again, I told you it was applied with a homemade chalk paint, which is latex based, and it had really deep brush strokes. And well, the paint that I am using lays down really nice and smooth, so we don't want to hinder the nice smooth finish on top by having super thick, heavy, just not great brush strokes underneath. So if this was your piece, you most likely are not going to have to do all of this sanding. You would just need to give it a light scuff sand and then go ahead and paint, since it has also a built-in primer. Well, let's go ahead and give that paint a stir, and we're ready to lay down that paint. So we are just going to dip in a zebra brush because they have the nice smooth synthetic bristles, and I'm using as long of brush strokes as possible. I'm trying not to overwork the paint too much. I found that I got more brush strokes the more that I work the paint. If I just, laid it down fairly lightly, then I didn't get hardly any brush strokes at all. I start at the bottom, as always, so that I can get all the underneath places done first, and then work my way up. I'm going ahead and adding some to the side because as I painted the very bottom lip, it caused a little ridge on the top, so I'm just feathering that all out. And now I'll go ahead, hit that little apron that's in the front. You can see how very old this piece actually is. It's very solid, but it has some character, we'll just say that much. My drawers sit on the outsides of the rails, so I'm not too worried about the insides, but I'm just trying to clean them up a little bit so that you don't see, several layers of paint in there. So I just wanted to show you these. These are just 2x4s that are cut into squares, and I use them to lift up my pieces of furniture so that I can paint all the way down to the bottom. There's other little fancy things out on the market, but honestly, this is just get 4 blocks of scrap wood from somewhere, and there you go. So far, I'm pretty impressed with the consistency. It's not too thick, it's not too thin. It goes on nice and smooth. The coverage is quite good. It's supposed to have really good self-leveling properties, so that's why I really sanded as much as I did. You probably don't need to hardly do any sanding. I would scuff sand first before I paint any piece. But other than that, like I said, it is covering really well. And I'm using a zebra chiseled brush, which you can get right down at your local hardware store. You can get it Lowe's, Home Depot. They both carry them. So yeah, I'm liking it so far. I don't know if I've mentioned it yet, but the color is called Heritage Beige, and I think it was a limited time color or a specialty color for the historic colors. I ordered this quite a while ago off of their website, so I don't remember exactly. I ordered 2 different types just to try it out and see what they were all about. I had seen a few people use it, and I said, well, let me see how it compares to some of the other all-in-one paints, which I will do a video comparing several different brands in another video very soon.
So if you haven't yet, be sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video.
All right, we're going to let this dry. So the manufacturer's instructions say to wait 2 to 4 hours between coats before applying the second coat. That is with temperatures above 50 degrees. Well, my home's a little warm today and we have fans circulating, so I'm gonna push it a little and try to recoat in about an hour. And that's because it's about, well, it's 80 degrees in here right now. My AC is broken and we're in the middle of summer in Florida. So, yay. And I do have fans, like tons of fans circulating right now. So, like I said, I'm going to try to push it. Now, my humidity levels might be a little high. I'm going to test it out in about an hour. And we have something fun that I'm going to do after the second coat. So, right now I am about an hour and a half into it. It only took about 30 minutes to apply the paint. If I didn't have to do as much sanding, cut that in half. So if your piece doesn't need to, if you didn't need to remove wax and then do all that, do the sanding, like I said, cut that in about a half. So we're looking at probably an hour into it. If you clean it, scuff sand it, and then paint it, about an hour. So then wait, depending on your temperature, I would wait the 2 hours and then reapply your second coat, which again only takes about 30 minutes. So what's that? Hour, 3 hours, 3.5, 4 hours, you're completely done with a new piece of furniture for you to use in your home. Not bad, right? Not bad at all. Like I said, I'm going to add a little something extra, and it's going to take me just a little bit longer, but not much. And it's a super beginner level technique that I've wanted to try for a very long time. So
Now we're going to go ahead and give everything a scuff sand with 220 grit sandpaper before applying the second coat, just to make sure that there weren't any things that stuck into the paint, like dust or bristles or things of that nature. I am already in love with it. The coverage has been great. To the touch, it's so smooth and so nice, and it has a nice little luster to it as well. It's not overly shiny, but it's not flat either, which is what I like. I'm using a fan brush the second time around because I didn't get a chance to clean it out the first time, but the first brush, that is. But this worked really well for all the details as well. Again, doing the same process, just using those really long brush strokes and not overworking the paint a whole lot back and forth. And there it is, all done, if I wanted to keep it this way. So I put the knobs back on it, and it's cute, but I'm a little extra. Let me know in the comments below, do you like it like this or the extra? I did a little faux bone inlay stencil using my silhouette, and I'm not going to give you a full tutorial on that because, well, you'll find out in a little bit. I do love how it came out in the end. I think it's dainty and feminine and has that faux bone inlay look. It'll fit perfectly in my bedroom. What do you think? Let me know in those comments below. Would you have done this to your dresser?
all right, it's review time. So this Melange one paint I thought was exceptional. The coverage was great. The leveling out properties were wonderful. The sheen is beautiful. The durability feels really good to the touch. Overall, it is one of the better all-in-one paints that I have ever painted with. So I would go to melangepaints.com, I think it is. I'll put the link in the description. But go ahead and find yourself some, because it's going to save you so much time, and the finish is beautiful. It's very, very professional looking. I really want to try this out in my sprayer. There's more than enough in here. And yeah, I'm just trying to think of what it is that I would actually do, because this isn't a normal color scheme in my house. So I have bright whites mostly. I'll have to find something else to paint, or I may have to go shopping for a new color. I don't know. I loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. So this is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. I get nothing for this review. This is all my honest opinion for all of my 10 plus years painting furniture. Now my review of the bone inlay stenciling. It's a nightmare. Let's just put it that way. Making my own stencil seemed like it would be easier, but in the end it ended up taking 3 times as long. If you're going to do a faux bone inlay, I don't care what skill level you're at, go ahead and find yourself a pre-made faux bone inlay stencil. There's plenty out there. There's some on Amazon. There's some at Michael's. Dixville Paint has one. I think Cutting Edge Stencils has one. You name it. Tons of people have a faux bone inlay stencil. Go find yourself one and use that instead of what I tried to do. I like it. It came out great, but I would next time just go ahead and get myself the stencil. So for that, let's recap. It took 4 hours to paint this dresser. So you would have had a completed piece in 4 hours. Now, it is 30 days before all paint cures. So I would let this dry some more, leaving the I would let this dry some more, leaving the drawers open and allowing this to cure fully before I used it right away. I'd give it at least a couple weeks. And then, of course, after 30 days, then, it's full use. But within that 30 days, you need to be extra gentle with it. Like, don't be trekking it in, across country somewhere, or, don't be setting a bunch of stuff on it to stay on it. Like I placed this on here to stage it, but I'll be taking it right off. So there's that. About the only negative I would say about this paint is maybe the dry time. So it's 2 to 4 hours between coats, which is quite a lot, but it's worth it in the end, because the longer the dry time, the more leveling properties there are. So like I said, I want to see this sprayed to see how really nice and smooth we can get it. But the luster is beautiful. The feel is great. It feels like a professionally painted piece, something from the factory. So 1, get yourself some Melange paint. And 2, don't make yourself a bone inlay stencil with using vinyl. It was awful. If you haven't already, go ahead and click that subscribe button. My channel is growing overnight and it's so exciting. So please be part of this wonderful wooden butterfly transformation community, and hit the thumbs up if you've liked this video. Also, go ahead and check out last week's video where I gave my office a makeover. There are several tutorials in there on painting home decor, as well as a unique way to do framed picture molding on a wall. So check that out. It's in that video right there. Well, happy painting, y'all. I hope y'all have a great week, and we will see you again in the next one. Bye-bye, y'all.